Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So in this video, I'm talking you through and trying on a bunch of products that I've recently got from BH Cosmetics. I know I just did a video like this on ColourPop, but you guys have been requesting both ColourPop and BH Cosmetics, and my orders for both arrived on the same day. So that's why this is kind of one right after the other. So even though I did get a few products and brushes to try, the star of the show is their brand new liquid foundation. So I'm gonna be applying it with different applicators, talking through the claims, and doing a wear test. So if you were curious about that foundation, or just curious about BH Cosmetics in general, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with foundation. And for that, I'm gonna be using the brand new BH Liquid Foundation in Naturally Flawless. I got mine in the shade Light Olive, which is 212. It looks a little bit light, but my self-tanner's gone, so I think it'll work. It was reformulated with the addition of hyaluronic acid, which is good because my skin is actually feeling pretty dry right now. It's supposed to keep skin younger and hydrated looking and provide a lightweight, medium to full coverage with a natural satin finish, and it comes in 18 different shades. And yay, it has a pump, so I'm just gonna pump some on the back of my hand, and on one side of my face, I'm going to apply it with a sponge. And I'm gonna use this Ulta Beauty sponge, which I've heard is discontinued, but I've been seeing it in stores still, so I don't know if they just have extra stock left or what the deal is, but you can still get a hold of this in most stores. And then on the other side of my face, I'm gonna be testing out their Rose Quartz brushes. They're really cute looking brushes with kind of like a pink marble handle. So I'll be using these brushes throughout just to test. And this is actually their contour brush, but when I was feeling all the brushes, this one is pretty densely packed, so I'm gonna try using it as a foundation brush. It feels really cooling on the skin and hydrating. And this isn't my new favorite foundation brush, but it's definitely doing the job. Okay, so with the one coat with the brush, I would say this is light coverage. I wouldn't even call this light to medium. I can still see all of the discoloration coming through. It just generally evened out my skin tone. It also looks really glowy and radiant. I can definitely see the hyaluronic acid at work, which is great for this time of year. So I'm gonna try and build it up on this side of my face a little bit where I have scarring. So I would classify this with the brush light coverage buildable. And now I'm gonna go in with the sponge on this side of my face. The formula of this, if you guys can see, is a little bit like gooey. It's a very thick formula, definitely not liquidy. It almost feels like a gel-based formula. All right, I'm building it up a little bit on this side as well. I would say there's no real difference in terms of coverage when using the brush or the sponge. And I don't have a strong preference on finish either. I think both sides look very similar. All right, the next product I have is the BH Cosmetics HD Brow Crayon. And I got mine in the shade Brunette. And the packaging is exactly what I want out of a brow pencil. You've got a spoolie on one side and the retractable pencil on the other side. I'm just gonna brush my brows with the spoolie and then go ahead and start filling them in. This is definitely a pretty pigmented brow pencil and a little bit on the warmer side in terms of the color of the brown. Reminds me a lot of the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. Okay, next up is a product that's been very hyped up here on YouTube, and it is the BH Studio Pro Total Coverage Concealer. I got mine in the shade 106, which I believe was called Light Neutral. So it looks like it's a squeeze tube with kind of like a flattened applicator area. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply. So this almost looks like a darker shade than the actual foundation, but it's supposed to have really good coverage. So I'm gonna go over the areas where I would typically want more coverage that I didn't get from the foundation. And I'm just using that same blending sponge. I like using the side that had the foundation on it just because it kind of mixes in a little bit of the foundation shade, and there's not a stark contrast to where the concealer ends and the foundation starts. Okay, I would definitely agree with the total coverage claim. That is some serious coverage, but I think this shade was a little bit too dark, at least with this foundation color, but I think it'll look fine once all of the makeup is on. I'm gonna use this little detailer brush. This is brush number 9 from the collection, and add a little more coverage on the areas where I have some scarring that the foundation didn't cover up. Okay, and now to set everything, I'm gonna use this brush. This is brush number 2 in the collection, and it's called the powder brush. And I'm gonna use my number 7 setting powder just so that we don't introduce a new setting powder, and if we have problems with the foundation and the concealer, we don't know whether it's the powder or the foundation or concealer, so I like to use the same powder when I'm testing new liquid face products. Okay, so that is the base done. I have to say right off the bat, I feel like the skin is looking pretty good, but the under eye area is looking a little bit dry. And I didn't use too much powder underneath my eyes because I don't get shiny there. I used more kind of in this area where I get really shiny. So I'll show you guys a close-up so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so moving on, I'm gonna go in with what I'm most excited about, and it is this Bronze Paradise palette. I believe this retails for around around $12, but don't ever buy anything off of BH Cosmetics without finding a coupon code. I swear they have a new discount every single day. So I ended up getting this for $8, which is an amazing deal because it comes with 9 eyeshadows, a highlighter, and a bronzer. So I'm gonna go straight in with the bronzer right here on the same powder brush because the only other kind of fluffy brushes in the collection are these two. One is a tapered highlighting brush and kind of a smaller blending brush. So while I think this smaller brush would be good for contouring, this shade of the bronzer is very warm, so I'm not gonna contour with it. And then this tapered highlighting brush, obviously I'm gonna use for highlighter. So again, I'm using brush number 2, and I'm just gonna warm up the face with this bronzer. And I didn't actually haul a blush from BH Cosmetics, but I'm gonna use the same powder brush that we used for powder and bronzer to go ahead and apply a little bit of blush out of this e.l.f. Total Face palette. I'm just gonna mix these two blushes to add some color to my cheeks. All right, now I'm gonna take this tapered highlighting brush, which is brush number 3, and go in with this beautiful looking highlighter right here. I know people love highlighter in the summer, but I feel like it's so much more important in the winter because our skin is just like looking and feeling dull, and I feel like highlighter just really helps fake a luminous, healthy glow. And I don't usually go for pink highlighters, but this one is really pretty, super pigmented. Okay, so now for the fun part. I'm gonna use brush number 6, which is a blending brush, and take this middle shade right here and put this through the crease. Super pigmented shade and a nice crease color. And this brush is doing a decent job. All right, now I'm gonna take brush number 8, which is a flat shader brush, and go in with this bronzy shade right here and this one. Kind of using the darker one toward the outer part of my eye and the lighter one toward the inner part of my eye. And by the way, this palette has a mirror, like a massive mirror in it. I wish I would have found this before the travel makeup video. This is so compact and has so many things you need, and it has a huge mirror. Okay, this bronze shade is stunning. And now I'm going in with the lighter bronze shade right next to it, just in the inner part of my eye. Okay, overall just really impressed right now with these lid shades and with this brush. It did an awesome job of really packing on the pigment. And now I'm gonna take brush number 7, which is just a smaller version of brush number 6. I'm gonna take that same crease color mixed with a little bit of bronzer and just darken up the crease right here, very close to the lid shades for some extra definition. All right, now I'm gonna throw on some liner and lashes and I will be right back. Okay, liner and lashes are on, and one thing that this collection is missing, the brush collection, is some sort of a pencil brush or a smudge brush. So I grabbed my e.l.f. smudge brush and I'm gonna take this really vibrant blue shade because out of all of the shades, it just calls my name, and I'm gonna smoke out my lower lash line. Okay, I'm amazed that this is literally the same color on my face as it is in the pan. So vibrant, so pigmented. Love it. Now I'm gonna apply some lower lash mascara. All right, now I'm gonna take the last brush that I haven't talked about yet, and it is brush number 5. And I'm gonna take this lightest shade right here and apply it to my brow bone and inner corner. All right, and last but not least, I'm gonna take this new Ashley Tisdale Illuminate with BH Cosmetics in the shade Milan. Looks like this. A little pinkier than what I typically go for, but I feel like since we're doing kind of a colorful look, why not? The applicator is really flat. It's a really flat doe foot applicator. So let's go ahead and apply and see what this color looks like on. All right, this color is actually really pretty. I think it goes nicely with the blue and it feels really comfortable on. And that applicator was super bendy and easy to use. And that is everything. So I'm gonna wear this throughout the rest of the day to test out the foundation and see how everything else wears. And I'll be back at the end of the day to give you an update as well as my final thoughts. Hey guys, so I am back. It is now the end of the day and I wanted to give you an update on how everything wore as well as my final thoughts. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the foundation and the concealer. As you can see, I am quite shiny. I think we've gone from a healthy glow to a greasy glow, but that is to be expected with my oily skin. The positive thing is that my dryness isn't showing. There's a tiny bit of texture right here, but other than that, the foundation looks really glowy and luminous. So I can definitely see myself mixing this in with another foundation to give it a little bit more of a healthy glow during this winter. But as far as wearing this on its own, I definitely don't think I would reach for it again. It's just a little too glowy for my oily skin. This concealer, I do want to give another chance after my skin has gotten over this dry period with the changing of the seasons. I definitely do see some dryness underneath my eyes. That said, the coverage was amazing. This shade is really nice. The only issue I'm having with it is that it is highlighting dryness underneath my eyes, but again, that's my own skin problem and I do want to give this another shot when my skin is a little bit better. Next up is the brow pencil. I like this brow pencil, but I think if you own the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer, you're not missing out on anything with this. It's not groundbreaking or revolutionary. The lip color, I mean, are you kidding me? Look how well it has lasted. I've eaten 2 meals, I've been drinking water and coffee, and the color from a distance looks perfect, but if you get up close, you can see that there is some dryness. It's settling into the lines on my lips and it's sort of making me look dehydrated a little bit. So if that's your pet peeve with liquid lipsticks, I would say steer clear of this one. But if you want something very long lasting, I would say go in with some sort of a lip oil or moisturizer before applying this one because it is on the drier side. This palette, I am blown away by this, you guys. I love this and I still can't believe I got it for $8. The bronzer is beautiful. It's a warm shade, so you can't use it for a contour color, but for like a vacation palette, this bronzer is perfect. The highlighter is beautiful, super pigmented, very noticeable still. And these eyeshadows are so gorgeous and pigmented. There's very minimal creasing. The pigment has stayed strong throughout the day. So this was probably my favorite thing out of the entire haul. And last but not least, these brushes. I have to give a huge thumbs up to these face brushes. There are 4 face brushes in the collection. This did a good job of applying my foundation. I think it would be better for a powder foundation brush, but you could use it for either. This powder brush I pretty much use for everything. You can use it to set your makeup and for bronzer and blush, so this was probably the most used brush of the day. This tapered highlighting brush is amazing. It's a little bit denser than the e.l.f. tapered highlighting brush, so this is kind of somewhere between super intense highlight application and very subtle dusting. So if you're looking for somewhere in between, this brush did an amazing job. Even though I didn't use this brush because I didn't have a contour shade, I think this would be the perfect contour brush because of the size. You can just tuck it in right underneath your cheekbone, even do nose contouring if that's something you're into. So the face brushes in this collection, thumbs up. As far as the eye brushes go, this small detail brush is good for kind of applying concealer and cleaning up the brow bone. The 2 blending brushes are nice and small. I would say if you own the Wet n Wild one, these would be a good addition to your collection because they're 2 smaller sizes for more dedicated crease makeup. This Packer brush is my favorite eye brush in the collection. It did an amazing job working with these eyeshadows and really packing on the product. And the larger crease brush I used for my brow bone and inner corner. You could also use this to kind of blend out the edges of your eyeshadow or blend out concealer. So another useful brush. So there's not a brush in the collection that I dislike. I think there are a couple brushes missing. Like I said, a smudger brush for the lower lash line and a kind of bigger, fluffier blending brush. But as a whole, I think all of those brushes would be a good addition to any brush collection. So that completes this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one.